Hello everybody out there and welcome to Indie Review episode 99.
Yep.
One more episode till the Indie Review breaks its immunity. Guys, this past week I've been on a little bit of a vacation. Last week of work was 2 weeks ago. Transitioning now into the new status quo. So apologies that things haven't been coming out like a lot but this week. But right after this Indie Review, some solo reviews for the big two books should be starting to pop up on here and on Comic Frontline. So look forward to all that. The indie goodness, however, sticks around for 2 more weeks, this week and next.
Yep.
So this week was
August 26, 2015.
Right.
The last week of August.
Right. And by the way, guys, just one more thing before we start. After the week of the 100th Indie Review, the following week we will be starting the comic book recap, which will recap all the indie books and all the big two books we have reviewed or talked about or read in the previous week. So for the comic recap episode 1, that will be the week that 101 for the indie review would be, and 30 something for the big two review. I'm starting to brain fart. So let's go.
All right.
A lot of physical, 13 digital.
Okay, so let's start with the physical of Sonic Universe, issue number 79. This is the brand new story arc called The Silver Age, and this is in 4 parts. This is part 1 of 4. And basically what it talks about is, Silver's character, along with the new professor, who actually, by the way, here's some artwork, which is really awesome artwork. And we get this professor named Professor von Schlemmer.
Shelmer.
Or Shelmer.
Whatever.
Well, I'm just going to say he's the professor who knows about Silver's psychic powers and shows him a little bit about the Genesis portal. And he basically, with his psychic abilities, he can close the portals, and, with that power, he can also save the world, because as they know it's going to be kaput for him to do that. So the professor recommends that he goes to the science center to see the council, and they both go there. And when they go to the councils, which are the benevolent leaders, they notice that the portal did close, and they want to find out how that happened. And that's to be continued until the next issue. So I really like that they're showing Silver's character in a better way than the video game, because in the video game he may have looked like a wimp, but in my opinion, I feel in this comic book they're making him more wiser. So it gives you more of an open eye on Silver's character. So that's for Archie Comics. Next up for IDW, we have Ghostbusters Get Real, issue number 3. Where we go on more adventures of the Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters. So, in this issue, as the 3-headed hound dogs are sent by Protus to find where the real Ghostbusters are, we have Ghostbusters Ray, who goes to the alternate dimension to see the real Ghostbusters universe, to get more about who this person that they're looking for, which is Protus. And to find out more of, who he is and who they're going up against. So then we have the 3-headed hound dogs, who went after the wrong people, because those weren't the ones that they were supposed to be going for. Here's some artwork, by the way, which is really interesting, this artwork. So then you get more about Protus and his character. There's a dimension.
I gotta admit, though, looking at the real Ghostbusters next to the Ghostbusters from IDW, I gotta say that some of the Ghostbusters that are from the IDW series I like, their models, their character models, and some of the Ghostbusters from the real Ghostbusters, I prefer their models more. For example, Winston from the real Ghostbusters, I like a lot more than the one from IDW, the way he's drawn. Pete, I'm up in this. I can't decide, because the one from IDW looks a lot more like what's his name that played Bill Murray. But I like the younger version of Pete from the real Ghostbusters. When it comes to Egon, I'm cool with the IDW version. Same thing with Ray. I'm cool with the IDW version. So technically, really, it's just Winston and Pete that I'm kind of up in the air with. Pete and Winston, I choose the real Ghostbusters one over the IDW one. Yeah. It's the head. I just...
Okay, so with the Dimensional Breach that acts up, the Ghostbusters and real Ghostbusters go up against the Hound Dog and actually win, but in the end, we have now Protus who appears and wants to now, from what it sees here, to go up against both Ghostbusters and the real Ghostbusters, and has to be concluded in the next issue. So
and that really will get more.
Yeah, that is like a huge cliffhanger built, and this was like really just by far excellent. Definitely almost book of the week from that. And next one is yours, actually, from IDW.
Sorry, just fixing computer. Okay, Casey and April, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles miniseries, issue number 3. This one, Rat King reveals himself towards the end of the issue. He really delves deep into April and Casey's mind, and the reader's mind in a way, because from the gas station, apparently, it goes right to the trailer where April was. So it makes you question, did April drive at all? Did Casey, see that? Did he leave either? Because his motorcycle was never really a motorcycle either. It was a long time ago, but not in present day. So it's very apparent that Rat King is messing with both April and Casey. Both of them end up in the trailer. A lot of stuff like mazes and whatnot happens, and the only way to escape is to go deeper. And April kind of figures it out. You see that they've been arguing in the past 2 issues. Now in this issue they kind of come back together. And now, like I said, Rat King revealed himself, and we also got introduced to another character that's going to be in the next issue. Really promising stuff here. Really liked it. Show some artwork really quickly. This is an excellent book. It was interesting going into Casey's past as well as April's passing away. Some sketchy artwork at times, but all good. I really enjoyed this. I'm enjoying this miniseries. It really is taking on a life of its own. I can't wait to hear what the next mini will be. I believe we have time still before they mention it. If there will be one, I don't know. It all depends where we're going after issue number 50 of TMNT.
Okay, we got 2 Valiant books this week that I read this week, which was...
Physically.
Physically. Of Ninjak issue number 6. This is part 1 of the Shadow Wars. So, for this to be a new part of the new story arc, this has like a brand new story, more about Ninjak's character, of basically looking more deeper into his character, along with back when he was just a little kid as well. So, we have Ninjak, who is like in the forest. Here's some artwork, by the way. And he's getting spotted and trying to dodge all these attacks. So what Ninjak sees is that there's like a what could I say? Like he meets up with this person who is familiar with him, and they have a little bit of a fight scene. And this guy that he fights with just throws stuff at him, and he tries to dodge as much as he can. I can't remember what his name is, but he's like basically, like I said, he just knows him from a long time ago and everything. So at the end of this issue, he defeats the guy, and well, let's just say that there's more out there that he needs to take down as well.
Oh, more Lost Files.
Yeah, the second one,
artwork got better, but still.
Yeah, the second one was just Lost Files. Basically, just a little bit more about Ninjak. You really don't have to read it because it's not necessary. It gives you a little bit more of insight.
If you want a backstory on Ninjak, though, it's a very nice read. If not, you don't have to.
That's what I was saying. Only if you want the backstory of Ninjak. So definitely, you could check that out. And speaking of Ninjak, that came out this week, Book of Death: The Fall of Ninjak one-shot, where to basically just sum up the whole story, and because I'm just going to show artwork, it just talks about Ninjak at his old state. Now, it's not just the current Ninjak, it's just when he gets older. And he has a talk with Livewire, who got old as well, and they have a little bit of a fight scene. And also, Jinjar is actually, the big robot, is controlled by Ninjak, and also Gillid talks with him also.
And Gillid looks the same age because he's the Eternal Warrior.
Of course, yeah. And so I thought that was actually pretty cool when Ninjak had this Spylocks, which are the army has, plus Jinjar. Because Livewire and Jinjar are the ones that work together, really. It was just kind of weird just to see that change happen over there. So they work together on a mission, and then in the end, well, it is the Book of Death after all, so what do you think happens in the end? Ninjak dies because of, the mission and everything. By the way, it was known to be a suicidal mission as well, so wouldn't see that coming. But really enjoyed this, as well as the second issue of Book of Death. So I'll be definitely looking forward to the next issue of Book of Death. And I believe next one's The Fall of Harbinger.
I think so.
Yeah, that's X-O-Man War. Next is your book from Image.
Spawn 255. Now, in the last issue, we learned that Satan, as well as certain demons, can control time, and they're willing to do that for Spawn. Ow. However, it comes at a price. And we find out at the very beginning of this book what it is. The first thing is they want his suit back. They want the symbiote. I love how they're calling it a symbiote now. I'm kind of not comfortable with that, but I guess they did kind of mention it was a symbiote from the get-go. I don't know, I just feel like they're really pushing it more, and the teeth thing is starting to really bother me a little bit, but it's something to look over for now. Al's back. I'm happy about that. And also swear he'll never go into hell again, and in return, they'll rewind time, undo things. Al will have Wanda alive again, and he'll be human. He won't be dead anymore, and he won't be his hellspawn anymore. And Al gives his answer, forthright. And let's see if I could show the artwork for that. Let me see how graphic we get. We also get to see Wanda's funeral. Well, let's just say that's Al's answer. A smooth threat to Satan, basically saying he's coming for him. After Wanda's funeral, Al's still trying to figure out who killed Wanda. He wants to know who is responsible for it, both hell and human-wise, and he's going to make each and every one of them pay. And then the last page, we get to see Satan. In the last page. And he does not look so happy. I'm really glad I jumped back on Spawn. I was not digging Jim Downing. They did mention him in this book, but Jim Downing is gone now. It's all Al again, and I'm very happy about that. Really excited for what's going to happen next. It's nice to have Al back as Spawn, and they're really going forward very well with this book, I believe.
All right, last two physicals are from Zenoscope. Coven, issue number 2 of 5.
Coven.
Coven, yeah. Now, I'm going to say this in my opinion. I was a little bit iffy with this book. Kinda. A little bit iffy. Because, like I understood what the story's about, where basically, Eva Williams was taken as hostage because they saw her as a wolf, where Baba Yaga was was in the forest in the last part, and now she has these 3 ladies. Lisa actually is her name, where there are 3 ladies who actually decided to help her out, and artwork though is really great. I mean, Zenoscope artwork is always the best, so they want to take her in just to help her out. Then we get a little bit of Eva Williams part where they expect her to be a witch and to stop terrorism from happening. That's really like the long and short of that, and they think that she could read minds, but she's way too young to know about that, because when you get older, that's when you learn about it. And then, just lots of action when, they get to Lisa's part, And they give a little bit of a backstory of who was the chosen one, so to say, and you can look into that when you read this comic book, as well as one of the shapeshifter characters to help them get into the lair. And things get a little bit all over the place when they get there. If you want to find out more, definitely read the book. I do not want to spoil more for this book because I just found it to be a little iffy. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I do still recommend you get the book. So I'm not saying it's bad or it's good, it's just, for me, just iffy. However, though, next book, Oz Reign of the Witch Queen, issue number 4 of 6. I'm sorry, I had a little bit of a tongue twist there. Oh my god, there was a huge twist in this comic book that you guys definitely should hear about. That involves Dorothy and Zamora. Basically, Dorothy is fighting off against the what was the name? The robot.
Not the Tin Man.
No. The one with the sword. A Warlord. Like she fights against him along with Toto and Lion. And also we have Tin Man, who actually helps out a little bit. And there's actually going to be a sacrifice in this book. That does happen. Here's some artwork, by the way, of Dorothy fighting off against the Warlord. And I have to admit, though, that the fight was really epic. But in order for all this to happen, a sacrifice has to be made. And I'm not going to spoil who that sacrifice is. So you're just going to have to read the book to definitely find out. But in the end, Dorothy, however, betrays them and goes, and this is a spoiler, goes with Zamora as her queen. And that's to be continued because Zamora has the power, to go through her mind. That I saw was really excellent, and the sacrifice of that certain someone was really a shocker as well. Definitely pick up. This was really good. And that's all for the physicals. Now we're going to go into the digitals. So let's start off.
Big Trouble in Little China, issue number 15. I'm just not feeling this series anymore. The more you're talking about it, I haven't started even reading it yet, but the more it's going, I don't like that he's now in present day. For me, I'm not liking it.
Yeah, but really it's of Jack Burton, who is fighting off against the people who want to basically take him in. And the artwork was a little bit at the time. We also have that little girl that got captured that leaves there and actually manhandles the robot very well. We get a little bit more development about her character, actually, and Jack Burton actually is really surprised about that. I can't remember what her name is for the life of me, but, he's like saying, like, have you ever thought about calling the cops and everything? And he goes crazy because he's still stuck in that whole 80s thing and doesn't get the whole concept of there in this year of 2015, present day, actually. So, when she gets in the action, like, she just fights. They say her name at the bottom. Keep going. When she fights off against this guy, Winona?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, after that, like, Jack's like saying, oh, okay, you can stay because of the people who are after Jack. So the fight keeps ensuing, and everything's happening, and we see someone who is actually watching Jack in action that really wants him dead and everything. And, well, let's just say that Jack goes into the whole photo thing, which kind of reminds you of the song Take On Me by Haha. No joke there. That's how the way the end looked. So I guess we're going to be getting some of the Take On Me setting in the next issue. Really awesome.
Hacktivist, Volume 1, issue Volume 2, issue number 2.
Yeah, of 6. So, in this issue, it was really more along the lines of, about the save yourself website, and that everybody's just in chaotic mode. Both Nate and Ed, I remember the character, Nate, they have a talk with each other about save yourself, and also how to basically change up the site to make it more better, because everybody's in like the dark, like there's no lights and everything, and everybody's just in chaos everywhere, and Ed is really starting to feel like more downfall about himself, since he's the one that they're looking for, because he's a wanted person. So we get this girl, I can't remember what her name is, the one with the pink hair, that actually is a hacker. And the way that she gets into stuff is that she hacks things. And this other girl who she teams up with is a hacker as well. Basically, in other words, they use hacks just to fix things. Like, they're not the bad type of hackers, they're the good types, and if that makes any sense. And as the issue continues, I mean, you could definitely read more of the story to find out more about these two characters. But let's just say that one of the characters that know about Nate and Ed really is out for them, and that really wants them to be captured. And that really is all of the Hacktivist story. You know, and that's really all that there is. So now Ed's in Las Vegas, from what we saw in the last issue, and the last page of the issue, and we'll be seeing more about that when we read more of the issue.
Aliens vs. Zombies, my only Zenescope book this week. Issue number 2. We get a backstory on Nova and how her planet was infected with the zombie virus at one time, and how she swore that that would never happen anywhere again. They actually admit to having the cure on the ship. However, it's going to take some to get it to happen. That's all the little probes we saw in the last issue. That's the cure. That's how they're going to save everybody. And we get to introduce some human people. Obviously the woman that's on the cover. And you've got Nova and her team who meet up with them. And they basically they offer a team up. They help them, and they'll save the planet and cure the zombies. However, where they have to go is very precarious in order to get the device they need to send the signal to all the probes, because the ship is destroyed, to cure all of humanity from the zombie virus. Interesting stuff. Really like the backstory. Love the artwork. Very, very strong concept. I'm loving this book. I can't wait for the next issue.
Okay.
I didn't read this one, and I'm very disappointed in myself. John Carter, Warlord of Mars, issue number 10.
And I could just sum up the whole book. This book just talks about the alien Taj Tarkus before he met up with John Carter and Tisha Torres. And also he talks about how he met with Hula, who is the big dog of John Carter's. And it's a whole big adventure of Taj Tarkus, where the kids are around the campfire to learn more about him. John Carter and Tisha Torres do appear on the last page, so if you're looking,
and they do nothing.
Yeah, if you're looking for John Carter, he's not in this book. But if you want to find out more about Taj Tarkus, which was interesting to me because I've always wanted to learn about his character, that's all you're going to get in the book. Up to you guys who want to pick it up, but just a warning, John Carter is not in it until the last page of the issue.
And it's not part of the issue.
It's not part of the issue. He's just there in the last page.
Mulan Revelations, issue number 3.
Wait. Oh, here it is. Yeah. I knew I took the picture. Mulan Revelations, it's so-so in some way. Like, basically, she has psychic powers still, and she's trying to still know more about her powers, and basically giving the understanding of what she sees. And then it goes in the past where her uncle gets captive, and there's just like lots and lots of stuff that are happening all at once. The robots that are there want to take her in.
I still like the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork's really more along the lines of paint in a realistic way drawn, and there's lots of action, and she gets out of the robot situation very well. And there are lots of things that are going to be coming her way. Mm-hmm. And those type of creatures do not look like that they're the playful type. That's all I'm saying there.
Alright, I can do this before we have to go into our break. Hellboy in Hell, issue number 7. It's been a while, and Mike, I want to say his name right, Mignola actually admitted that Hellboy in Hell is not an ongoing series as far as every single month. And it's not a mini-series either. It's whenever he has the time or something like that. I remember that in an interview.
It's when he has the time to do it.
I remember reading it somewhere a long time ago. So if I'm wrong and I'm misquoting, I apologize in advance. But anyway, we obviously are going to be getting it next month again because this issue was to be continued. So Hellboy has something connected to him. And it's a parasite. And when the issue opens up, Hellboy has no color whatsoever. He's completely white. We get a little bit of a flashback with him and Alice and the Life Tree. Read the book to find that out. They go to a doctor to have the doctor help Hellboy out, getting this parasite off of him. And we find out from the doctor that Hellboy it's very bad. The situation he's in is very bad. He gives him some medicine to kind of wean off the parasite a little bit. He gets a little bit of color back. He starts turning like a mute red again. And the doctor has this other guy, I forgot what his name was, he mentioned his name here. I'll just go up and look for it. He mentioned it.
It's very dark though.
But I like it very much. Very nice. Coppelius. Let's call it Coppelius.
Okay.
Who's aiming to kill him because of what happened in living life. Anyway, there's a really weird double toil and trouble kind of nursery rhyme at the end, and it ends with Hellboy actually facing off against this monstrous Coppelius, and really awesome stuff. So how is Hellboy going to be healed? Will Hellboy be healed? And what's going to happen next? Really good. If you are a Hellboy fan such as myself, you are going to be really happy to see this book, and you're going to be happy to know that there's another part to it. Definitely check it out. Guys, give us just 3 seconds, and we will be back at the click of a button. Alright, we talked about Hellboy in Hell. Let's talk about Godzilla in Hell, issue number 2. Now, this time, the artwork is gorgeous in this issue. I loved it. The art and story is by Bob I apologize if I'm saying your last name wrong. Egledon?
Okay.
And this time, it's all Godzilla versus Kaiju. However, now we have a narrator, and the narrator is basically saying what we're seeing in the pictures, but obviously going into greater details and talking about Godzilla's tests and journey through hell. And we get to see several Kaijus, we get to see several fights, and just gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. I love it. The narration is a lot to read at times, but still really good stuff. Really awesome, beautiful artwork. You can see it for yourself. Really nice artwork. And Godzilla passes one hurdle and goes right into the next, going deeper into hell. And I'm really, really loving this series a lot.
Alright, there's a new #1 that came out.
The 7% Solution. Nicholas Myers, The 7% Solution.
It's basically the story of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I think it actually says that at the bottom.
This one I could sum up too.
The astonishing joint adventure of Sherlock Holmes and Sigmund Freud.
Oh, and Sigmund Freud, I didn't know about that.
Sigmund Freud.
No, I didn't see that title, I just saw Sherlock Holmes. Because, well, basically, it was focused more on Sherlock Holmes, and it just talks more about his character. I feel like I've heard about this character like the 3rd time they re-explain characters. I really wish they would stop re-explaining the characters because we know it. But it could be for new readers. Yes. Because you never know. That's all I'm saying there. But basically, it's talking about his character who is on the drugs known as cocaine, actually. There was some parts where they were saying, so do we know that he's using cocaine? In my mind, I'm like saying, what do you care if he's using cocaine? I mean, you know, because it's like, I mean, I know it's a drug and it's a problem, but it's like, you know how like there are characters who are just like not part of a character's concern, and you just get these people who are just like in the way of stuff.
Right.
That's why I say that. I mean, yes, it is a problem, but it was really focused more about his character and his problem with cocaine, and now his brother, who appeared in the last issue, wants to learn more about Sherlock also. So it was a little bit okay. I'll just see how the next issue goes to see how that is.
Ragnarok issue number 6.
Yeah, and this issue, I don't really know, like, it's really starting to go a little bit downward, in my opinion. Like, basically, Thor of Ragnarok is actually honoring the people who, the family member who have died. So she fights off against this double-eyed creature. I can't remember what his name was. It began with the letter H. Horinger? Let's just put it that way. And she fights off, or he actually fights off against them. And it's really the end of book 1. It was like a huge fight scene, and then there's this other guy with his daughter in the beginning of the book that actually sees all this going on from afar when they travel back. So it's going downward, but if the next issue doesn't hold me, I might just drop it because it's just not holding me in some way.
Right. Okay, now this one we have digital. The rest is all from Valiant. Book of Death, Legends of the Geomancer, issue number 2. How was this?
This one was actually really interesting. Basically, this book talks about preventing the Geomancer from spreading, because there are these other characters who are trying to spread the Geomancer because they feel that it's good for the people of civilization. Because the Geomancer basically is like what, not what Bloodshot uses, it's like basically what helps people live more, but it could be very dangerous. So these characters who you see in the front page are trying to prevent this disease from spreading. So it's like the origin of how the Geomancer came about, but trying to have the choice of not letting it actually happen. But we all know in the end it's going to happen because it's actually happening in the Book of Death comic book right now. And in the end of the book, they just go along lines of seeing a giant. So now we're going to get the origin of the species, which still relates to the Geomancer. So, really interesting to find out about this disease because I'm reading Book of Death, so might as well find out what it's about.
Dead Drop, issue number 4. Some of these didn't come out this week. I think I missed last week's book, so it's a mix of this week's and last week's and maybe the week before.
Oh, I didn't know that. But, alright, so in this comic book, we get more about this woman. I can't remember her name. I don't even think that it said it anywhere. Where she's
Detective Sergio?
Alright, yeah. But basically, she tells the lieutenant that Bannerman is, Neville, that Bannerman is dead, but she's trying to actually look for Exo Manowar because he's been missing in action. So she does find him in this big, huge container that is frozen. She sees that he's still breathing and everything, but they want to try to find ways to get him out of there unaffected, basically. So there's like a whole big strategy of just finding out how to get him out of there. And as the issue continues, we get this weird-looking character who basically Beta Man, who isn't dead now because he's half human yet half robot. So that's leaving me a question mark saying how he got that way to be continued in the next issue. So I want to really know about how he got that way.
Ivar Time Walker, issue number 8.
And in this one, it's very sort of heavy dialogue in this one. But more of a long story about Ivar, however you say it, is trying to get rid of the Newmans that are coming. So he has the red Newmans who are trying to help him seize more of the other people. Then we get this woman cyborg who I think Tracy is the woman's name, because it's not the regular one, it's the one that's half robot, half human. So she goes off to try to stop Ivar, and Ivar and Tracy, if that's her name, have a little bit of a love scene together, which I thought was really amazing. So he tries to tell her that he has stuff that he has to do to try to stop the robot from preventing more of the time to get more mixed up and everything, and there are lots of stuff that happens after that. So if you want to really find out more, Neela is her name, not Tracy, Neela. So it could be the end of history as we know it, which is what the next issue's saying.
Could be the end of Ivar.
Or it could be the end of Ivar. Well, we're going to have to find out in the next issue and see how it goes.
Finally, Rye, issue number 9.
Yeah, and in Rye, it focuses more of the 3 women who are in Japan that really talk about more about their homeland, as well as the father, because the father is like the law. So then as it happens, it goes back to Rye's character after the whole mumble jumble thing happened of sending messages out. So he's just worried about everything that's been going on. So I'm trying to remember the girl's name. Like, he's just like, the girl's saying, no, we need Rye and we need help with what's going on here, because he can actually solve all these problems that have been happening. And Rye gets it really bad. Like, he is trying to wonder why he's not healing, because he's the type of character that does that, and the end just doesn't look going out too well for him, along with the people who shot him. Since he can't heal, that's a big problem. So, it looks very graphic. I'm going to leave it at that. But this issue is pretty good. I definitely would recommend it to pick this up if you're reading Valiant books. Valiant's bringing out a lot of great books, and they are, and it's really getting interesting. And definitely just jump on the Book of Death, because that one's is like
I would definitely recommend that series also.
Absolutely.
Alright guys, and with that, that's it for episode 99. One more episode to go, and then the indie review goes off into that gorgeous sunset, and World's Finest review completely takes over all the reviews on this channel, and we reach out into doing more reviews all over the place. So anyway guys, as always, feel free to leave comments, likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. We love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to also check out Comic Frontline for more comic reviews, more TV reviews, more of everything. #1 source for comic related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Lots of stuff coming out of Zone4Podcast.com as well. 123 Podcast is coming, and it is coming soon, as in tomorrow soon. So look forward to that. And also, Frontline Gaming Zone. Got lots of games coming your guys' way. Took a week off last week. This week, it's down to the nitty-gritty, down to the grind, and lots of work going to be done on this channel and going forward from here on out. So look forward to that. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys.
We're dropping stuff.
Good night. In the next video.
Later, everybody.